So no live podcast this week because we're at NBA broadcast meetings in New York City, which is going to be a lot of fun. So we're thinking about, okay, what kind of content can we do this week?
What kind? I know it's called re-releasing content for some of our newer audience that probably didn't experience some of our really good interviews.
For example, in December 2020, we chatted with Richaun Holmes, and it focused not really so much about like that season. It focused on his journey from being that second round pick, being in Philly, going to Phoenix, finally getting a chance in Sacramento, and just kind of hearing his background. I need you to know from a video perspective, get ready to cringe because our setup is bad.
Really?
Oh, it's terrible. Bad camera,
Oh,
bad lighting.
well,
And then honestly, listening to it, we were kind of cringy.
what?
Yeah.
Oh.
But who cares? Who cares? Because it's not about that. It's about Richaun Holmes. So enjoy this conversation with Richaun Holmes and get to know him a little more.
Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. The podcast that you know.
You know, Morgan, I know I say this every time we have a guest on. It's like it's a little weird to play our theme song because it's a little cheesy.
Uh-huh.
It's a little more bizarre to do it when you have an NBA player on.
I love it. Nah, that was dope.
Yes. That voice you hear is the one and only King's big man, Richaun Holmes. How you doing, man?
Oh, man, doing well. Appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, man. I mean, I know you're in the midst of training camp. This is like weird times and everything, but how are you feeling overall?
Oh, I feel good. You know, just excited to have a chance to play some more basketball. You know, 6 years in, you know, it's a blessing. So looking forward to everything.
Yeah, I want to talk about your journey a little bit because, I mean, your journey is different. So we're going to get into that. I want to know this first of all, though. What was Richaun Holmes like as a kid?
Yes.
Richaun Holmes as a kid, I mean, I probably took like losing the hardest out of anybody in my family. And they're actually like, I would lose games. I would cry. I would break remotes, break game systems. If it was we playing cards or something, I mess up all the cards everybody has if I lost. So like as a kid, I was the sorest loser ever. That's one thing that always sticks out.
Wait. You broke game systems?
Yes.
Like what? What did your parents do?
Nintendo's, Xbox. Like I think I broke one Xbox and countless controllers. Like I can't even name how many controllers I broke. But
So in other words, you were a competitor, and I'm sure you won a lot too, right?
I mean, see, when you got three older brothers, you don't win as much as you think you should, especially like when you're younger. You know what I'm saying? Like once I hit about, you know, like 12, 13, you know, I could compete a little bit better in the video games. But, you know, they used to just beat up on me, man. It wasn't right.
Okay, the one thing I read about you is that your parents at one time thought like you and your brother could be like a pro bowler. Like you were big in the bowling. Is that true?
That was the first sport, for real. That was the first sport. Like I was bowling long before I even thought about playing basketball. So in high school, I tried out for the bowling team and for the basketball teams. And the only reason I didn't do both of them is because they was during the same season. So like bowling's always been something I love doing.
No, were you the best bowler in your family then?
I cannot say that. I can't say that and say I'm being honest. My oldest brother and my dad, they go at it. But I mean, I got some wins in for sure.
So when did you realize like you loved basketball? Of course, you were trying to choose between the two sports. You ultimately chose basketball. I think that worked out okay for you. But like, when did you know like, hey, I love like, there's one thing to play the game, but there's like a different, like the love for the game. When did you know that you loved it?
I knew I loved basketball like right around like 7th, 8th grade when I had this coach and the things he was demanding us to do, a lot of guys just wasn't with it. And I just remember going through everything and thinking, okay, if I just get through this, I'll be able to play. If I just get through this, I'll be able to play. And my mom actually is the one who pointed it out to me, like, man, you do some crazy stuff just to play basketball. And I think at that moment is when it was like, oh yeah, like I'll do anything to play this game. Like whatever I got to do, how many sprints I got to run, whatever, it don't matter. Like I'll do anything to play.
It's so great too that a coach kind of empowered you, and you had that moment of when you realized you loved the game with the coach. How was your AAU experience growing up? Because I feel like I played ball growing up, and so I have different experiences obviously as a woman basketball player than a lot of male basketball players. And so what was your experience like with AAU, with coaches, teammates, and all of that?
Well, AAU was like the time of my life. Like I wasn't like taking it as serious as I didn't even know it was a serious thing, like just playing basketball, traveling in the summer. Like, I mean, it was the most fun I can think of, you know what I'm saying? And I never really realized the recruitment and the coaches that were in the stands, the people that was looking, because like I never even played basketball for that up until that point. So for AAU, for me, it was just a bunch of fun. Like I just had a bunch of fun, and like, man, I miss those days.
Did you two things? Did you travel a lot with AAU, and you never had like controversies of where like coaches would try and make one player stand out so then it wasn't team basketball anymore? You never had any of that?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
You mean like that? Okay, I see what you said. No, it's definitely wanted to make sure certain players on the team. So like, I know a few AAU teams I didn't even play. Like I didn't even see the floor like at all. But yeah, that side, like I said, I was like completely oblivious to it. I'm like just this kid that just wants to go out there and run around and play for real. Like I just had that kid feel. But man, it was coaches' sons that would play the whole game, things like that. So yeah, it's very political, no doubt.
I'm curious. You're talking about how much fun it is. And I feel like that's when basketball, I've said this many times, in its purest form, it's just fun. The ball moves around, there's execution, the teamwork, it's free flowing. You mentioned like when you found out you loved it, but what do you love about the game?
Oh man, I love the competitive aspect. I love like little stuff like how the net sounds when it swishes, when the ball swishes through, the sound of a basketball dribbling, shoes squeaking in the empty gym, just like the little things for real. Like it's the real small things you just appreciate every time you step on the floor, So man, it's a lot I love about this game.
Yeah.
Go on all day.
It's like it's like its own very own soundtrack. I completely understand.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Like those oddly satisfying things. I think they call it oddly satisfying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. So with growing up, I'm sure you idolized some players. Who were some players that you just really liked their games? And then who were some players that you were like, I want to play like that?
Players that I just loved their games and how they played. Allen Iverson off the top of my head, Tracy McGrady, Kobe Bryant, that era, Shaquille O'Neal. But, the one guy I said I wanted to play like that, I just was like my favorite player to this day, my favorite player all time, Kevin Garnett. Like, I wanted to play exactly like that guy, down to the way he would pound his chest when he came out and talk to the crowd, things like that. Like that, little things like that. I used to love watching Kevin Garnett play. Yeah,
he had that crazy in him that like you just can't duplicate. You can't fake. You either have that or you don't. Like
no doubt. That's the guy right there, big ticket, no doubt.
Yeah, man. I'll never forget back in I think it was the 2004 playoffs when Weber was coming back for the injury and he destroyed the Kings in that series. He rolled 1-7. That hurt.
That was the MVP season, I think, too. That was the MVP season.
Yeah.
He was on a different type of run that year.
Absolutely. Richaun, the one thing that always strikes me about you is you're a super positive person.
Yes.
And I get it. It has to come from your family too. But I'm curious too, your mentality. I mean, what you do for a living, like obviously you're blessed and you make a good living and all that stuff. But like there is a certain level of grind that comes with it. So is your positive mindset, is that conscious or is that something that has just been ingrained in you since you were a kid?
I mean, I think for me, it's always how I looked at things, from a kid, like you said. That's always how my dad was, my brothers, it's a blessing just to wake up in the morning. These 24 hours is a blessing. The fact that I had an opportunity to do something with these 24 hours is a blessing. Things don't go my way this day. Some things don't go this way. You know what I'm saying? I still got a chance to make things go in my favor. So like that's always the outlook I have. I got another 24 hours to be above ground, then I can like make change on my life. I can do things and get things in order and things of that sort. So every day I just look at it as a blessing, and that's kind of how it starts off.
So even when you have a bad day, let's say you have a bad game. Let's just say you have a bad game, the team loses. How do you process that? I know every game is different, but like if you have a bad night or just night, like how do you process that after a game?
I mean, I definitely have my moments. I'm irritated after a bad game. I hate playing bad, but you know what I'm saying? Like you just look at it, you blessed, you got an opportunity to play basketball for a living. You know what I'm saying? You make a lot of money doing it. I mean, and we had one bad game. So let's look at what happens tomorrow. If I wake up and I have another 24 hours tomorrow, I got a chance to change that bad game, things of that sort. So it's almost like a always on to the next mentality.
So your mentality is so dead on, where I know there's so many players, obviously, when they're younger, they don't grasp that. And then even there's players who go throughout their entire career and then retire and go, man, if only I had my mental game strong. When did you start having your mental game so strong?
I mean, it comes from my father. Like, honestly, I thank God for that bed. Like, just seeing how he maneuvered every day, the things that would be thrown at him and how he would kind of just, step away, get his mind right, come back right, make decisions to make change. I mean, he taught by example. Like, he really led by example. And the way I watched him and saw how he handled all the situations that came at him, the things that I go through seem like nothing almost. So, I mean, I just got to thank God for him. He instilled it from me since I was born. So it just became a way of life for me.
I thought that was awesome. Was it a couple months ago now when you surprised him with a car? I can't imagine that moment. That's got to feel like an awesome moment when it's like, hey, you've been here, you've been through thick and thin with me, you helped turn me into the person I am today, and I have the ability to give you a car. Like that's
no doubt. I mean, that's just moments like that you just thank God for. It's to see the things he did, the things he sacrificed to get me to this point, and to be able to just give him a little something. You know what I'm saying? Just be able to give him a little something. That was a special moment for me and for my family for sure.
This is Richaun Holmes is trying to get into this chat right now.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I had no idea about that. I'll just admit it because why not?
Okay.
Let's see.
Is that the senior or the junior?
Let's find out here. Hey, who do we have here on it with us?
Oh, hey guys.
That is the junior.
Yeah, I apologize.
Oh,
What's going on, bro?
You're just checking in?
Yeah, I'm just checking in, make sure everything was going well.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, everything good, brother. You all right, man?
I'm all right, man. Well, y'all keep up the good work. I apologize for cutting on in, but
I saw the name pop up. I said we could admit you, man. Hey, before you go, tell me about the competitiveness of Richaun growing up, because he was saying like he'd lose something, he's breaking remotes and video games.
Oh man, it was bad. He was one of them type of kids growing up. He hated to lose. He hated to lose more than he loved winning. So it was crazy. So yeah, throwing remote controls, all types of stuff.
It's crazy because, he just seems like the happiest, like mentally strong guy. I just can't even imagine him like throwing a controller. So for you, do you think you maybe have a little bit to do with, helping him change his ways growing up?
Absolutely. I would say, yeah, that would be me. I'm the most calm out of all of us. So yeah, I think it was me that helped him out with that.
It's their fault that I had the problem, because they used to beat up on me, and then talk mad crazy about it. Used to just talk crazy about it.
That's
so
true.
It was their fault. I blame y'all.
Hey, he might got a point there. That's true.
That is
let up on him.
That is hilarious. You want to just hang out and listen or what? I mean, I know you're in the show.
I'm gonna go back to regular life. I'll wait to hear when it come out. So y'all go ahead and keep up the good work, man. Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks for checking in. All right.
Talk to you later, bro.
Yeah, talk to you.
All right, brother.
That is
That is
hilarious.
awesome.
So we're doing a Zoom chat with right now, recording this just so the audience knows. And I saw Richard
Yeah.
pop up. I'm like, well, it must be Rashawn's relative. Let's check in with him. That
Yeah,
was
that's my older brother there. That's my older brother, the Richaun
So
Holmes Jr.
talking about family, I know we know how close you are with your family and how much they mean to you. What have they meant to you with your journey going into the NBA and that entire process?
Oh man, my family, they took on roles. They didn't know what they were doing really. I mean, we all just kind of jumped into it because we didn't realize how crazy the lifestyle was going to be and things of that sort. And some of everything comes at you. And man, my family has just been there every step of the way. If I needed something handled, just call one of them. Just call one of them. If they can't do it, call somebody else. And it's just, that's always how we've been, just like a system. You know, we got each other's back. And that's how it's been. They wrap their arms around me like they always do and make sure everything's good.
you know, it's not easy to be like a second round pick in the league, right? Like, of course you make it, but there's still that grind, right? And just looking at your career, you know, you were at a junior college at first, and then you went to a mid-major in Bowling Green. I'm curious for you, like, at what point during that journey did you think, okay, I'm going to make it to the NBA? Or did you have your doubts? Like, when did you finally believe, like, no, I can make it, I can do it?
I mean, honestly, I thought even in high school, like when I was in high school, when I went from about 6 feet to 6'4",
Wow.
and I got to like 6'4", and I started realizing I could do things that a lot of other people couldn't really do on the court, you know, as I got taller. And I was just like, I feel like I can make it. I can go.
Yeah.
And then it got to my senior year of high school, and I kind of broke out right towards the end. And that's when it hit me like, man, I'm going to be able to play professionally somewhere. Like, I knew I could play professional somewhere.
But you were being overlooked.
No, yeah, no doubt. No
Yeah.
doubt. And I think it hit me that the NBA was a possibility after I became an All-American in junior college. And that was the moment where I knew I could do something special, but it was just going to take a lot of work. But from that moment in JUCO, when I got those accolades, I knew I could get there.
Dude, people don't understand the quality of ball that's at so many JUCOs across the country. Like
Definitely.
I played junior college ball, and I remember I had some offers going into other colleges. I just turned them down. I had, you know, just a boyfriend that I wanted to stay in town for, whatever. And then I ended up going to a junior college, and we ended up getting second in the state. And I just remember in the state of California, and I remember the looks that you get and the amount of recognition and everything when you get to that level, and you really see the amount of talent that's there. How much did junior college ball actually help you for, I guess, just the rest of your college career?
Oh man, junior college was big time. I always say junior college put that dog in me. Like, it's just a different level of competition. Like, guys are fighting, scrapping everybody for that next opportunity. You know, people from different backgrounds, from rough backgrounds, just fighting and scrapping. And I mean, every single team you play in junior college is going to play all out hard. I mean, those games with some of the most effort expended in the game that you will ever see. I mean, it's just like it's like a fight. Like, it's a fight. Yeah. Like you getting after it. Everybody's just going all out. Like, you won't see anybody really play harder than at the junior college level. Every single player plays hard.
So draft night comes. You get drafted by the Sixers in the second round. What do you remember about that night and like the emotions of it all? Because obviously, like every kid grow. I at one point thought I could make it to the NBA when I was like 7, and then I realized, no, come on, what are you talking about? I gotta just talk about sports. But like, what was that like that night when you're with your family hanging out and you hear your name called?
Oh man, that was truly an unforgettable night. Truly amazing. My son was born like 2 weeks before I got drafted, so for him to be able to share that moment, have my entire family there. And the funny thing is, I didn't, like, during the draft, I didn't hear my name get called. Like, they went from the 36th pick right to the 38th. And they went
like it wasn't on TV. You didn't get to hear your name called.
Commercial when they went to 37.
Commercial.
It went to commercial, And when it came back, it was on the 38th pick. So I had no idea yet, but everybody else knew except like me and my family because we was waiting to watch it on TV. And then I think somebody called like, man, congratulations. Your brother just got drafted. And we still waiting, watching like, wait a minute, what happened? Then they finally showed the replay before the 38th pick was selected. And then you could see my name called. They played the highlight reel. And I remember me and my brothers bust out the hotel room, running all down the hallway, screaming, talking to random people that I just got drafted. Like, I mean, it was one of those nights that you can't forget.
So during that process, were you one of those people, like, I don't know if players do this, because like fans, we obsess over mock drafts. Like before the draft, are you looking at mock drafts all the time, just seeing what people are saying against you?
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. My entire draft process, that's all I kept looking at. After every workout, I was looking, did I move up one? Did you see me? Do you see me yet? Okay, well, we go keep, I don't know. But man, I was following every mock draft board from, the big guys to the random fan on Twitter that's just put his own mock draft board up. Like, I mean, I was following all of them.
That reminds me. I got to ask you about this too. Is like with free agency, because again, with free agency, we turn on like notifications. Like I got to see what Woj is doing and what Shams and maybe all these guys are doing. Do players do that too? Are they like checking Twitter to see what's happening?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Like, during free agency, we are all fans. Like, waiting to see what he went well in the practice facility while we getting ready to go get our own shots up. Well, he got traded. What that happened? Like it's the same. Like you got, like, we all grew up loving basketball, still fans of basketball. So like it's fun. It's funny to see.
We've got more with Richaun coming up, but we should mention that today's podcast presented by our friends over at the Detail Pros of Sacramento. Be honest with yourself right now. Your car's dirty.
Yep.
All right. It's got like stuff all over the outside.
Bird poop.
Oh, bird poop's really bad for the paint.
Acidic.
And then you look inside.
Oh my God, you're just gross.
Cups.
Forks.
Napkins.
Crumbs.
Oh, boogers.
Well,
some boogers.
definitely didn't Deuce his car.
You need to hit up Nick over at the Detail Pros of Sacramento, big Kings fan, and he will make your car look so nice. And all you need to do is go to his website, thedetailprosac.com. Tell him you heard it from the Deuce and Mo podcast. You will get a free paint sealant upgrade worth $125.
Support local, you guys. And like we said, he's a Kings fan, but not only that, he's fantastic. My dad goes to him like every month now. So make sure you hit him up, the Detail Pros Sacramento.
Let's also give some love to a New York Times bestselling author. She's the one and only T.R. Reagan.
Oh, yes, this lady. She's loves to write creepy books. And I say that all the time because I can barely read them. They're so creepy. Like, I have nightmares when I read them, but they are easy reads. And especially if you're just trying to gear up, get ready for the season, finishing off the summer, have an easy read with a little bit of a creepy vibe. Look at all of T.R. Reagan's books. You can go to trreagan.com or you can go to amazon.com and search T.R. Reagan.
So, okay, if you could go back in time, what advice would you give your rookie self?
That's a good one.
What advice would I give my rookie selves? Don't give too much respect, I would say, because like as a rookie, every single player you play, you've been watching for I don't know how long. So it's like, oh my God, I'm playing this guy tonight. Let me go ahead and make sure he likes me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I think for me, like coming in like that, I feel like that was never the way I played. I was kind of starstruck, I would say, especially for like the first half of the season. So just the advice I give my rookie self, don't get too much respect.
Yep.
You belong out here with everybody that's out here. Like you one of one. So go out there and prove it.
You grinded, you belong there.
You mentioned
No
belong. Like when in your NBA journey did you go, all right, I belong in this league?
Oh, my rookie year.
You knew it.
It was a game in Utah, and somebody was a late scratch, and I just remember feeling really good that day. And I had like 18 points, like 4 blocks, and I was like, yeah, that was smooth. I can do that every night. I feel like I can do this every night. I belong in the NBA. Yeah, I'm an NBA player. And it kind of like smacked me in the face that night.
So now we're going into this new season after, everything that's been going on in the world. It's just been such a weird time. But do you have any personal goals for yourself? Is there anything specific that you're trying to accomplish for yourself?
I mean, I think for me is everything that I want has always been tied to winning. So like, I just honestly, I want to make the playoffs. That's the only goal I had coming into this year. I just want to make the playoffs, and you know what I'm saying, I'm a fight. I know the team is as well, and we're gonna try to get there.
Yeah, I'm always curious about that because I feel like every NBA player says, "Hey, they want to make the playoffs every year and compete." And this fan base right now is like, "Yeah, okay, well, it's probably going to be a tough year."
Yeah.
Is that stuff that obviously you see that stuff? Like, does that fuel you as well? Does that fire you up and go,
Almost
"Okay,
definitely. Like you understand, the predicament the fans have been in. Like, you know what I'm saying? And the fans continue to show tremendous support. Like continue everywhere I go, everywhere the team goes. Like the fans just love on us. So as a player, you want to reward that. You want to do the best you can, give everything you have on the floor, and try to put the team in the best position possible. And that's what we're trying to do.
So you've talked about shooting more threes, and I think we're just seeing how this game evolves. I'm sure from when you were playing AAU ball to where you're at now, you're like, oh, I've got to evolve my game. It's got to be different. Even as a big guy in this league, I got to shoot some threes. We're seeing Dame Lillard take some half-court shots and try to take that.
That guy.
Shot. I know.
It's ridiculous.
His range. I know you're not trying to do that yet, but for you, are we gonna see you shoot a lot more threes coming up? Is that part of your game that is really gonna be the next step?
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. It's something I've worked on, something I'm tremendously confident in at this point because of the work I put in on it. So if I'm open and it's a good shot, I'm looking to let it go.
And is that so weird to think about? Because I feel like so many big guys growing up, you can get away with height and being athletic, right? And now you're seeing the game. You have to be a versatile player. It's going to become this positionless game. And I feel like someone like you understands that and is willing to evolve their game. Are you expecting that from other people around the league as well?
Oh, most definitely. People are competitors and people, it's only 450 jobs out there. So, you have to continue to get better because somebody's going to be putting that work in. So, got to keep working. I'm sure other guys are going to work to evolve their game every year. And, that's the beauty of the game and playing in the NBA. Guys have worked the hardest to get here and have to work even harder to stay here. So that's kind of the beauty of it.
I'm curious. You got to defend some big guys at times.
Oh, yes.
Is there anyone that you hate going up against? Not that because you don't like them, but just because it's oh God, this is going to be a battle, like Embiid, or I think of Steven Adams, because Steven Adams.
I was just about to say that. Just about to say Steven Adams. When Steven Adams is on that schedule, you better get a good night of sleep, get anything taped up that may be a little sore, and just get ready to go to war, because that is one of the strongest dudes I've ever met. And he uses his strength very, very well, knows how to use his body. So when it comes to battles, man, Steven Adams is the first guy I think of.
When you say use his body, can you explain that? What do you mean? How does he use his body well?
I can't even really describe it. The guy doesn't move. When you hit him, he doesn't go anywhere. He knows how to get low, get his position right. And when he he claims his spot and claims his position, it's very, very hard to get him off of there. So he just knows how to go where he wants to go. And
then you get that Pelicans front line. It's going to be him and Zion next to each other.
That should be fun.
Yeah.
That should be fun. That's definitely going to be a battle. Definitely.
Richaun, we're those basketball nerds, so please get nerdy with us on this, because even you talking about Steven Adams and then studying Bam Adebayo, what kind of things are you looking at when you are studying a player like that?
Just different ways they can be effective, different things that I have to work on that they're good at. Like Bam Adebayo, for example, he's a great playmaker, and that's something I had to get better at. And I'm a visual learner, so I learn better by looking at somebody do it, and then I can go out and try to do it the best way I can and try to integrate it in my game. So, I've never had problems, taking from different players, different players who are better at things than I'm not, and trying to learn and try to get better that way.
Yeah, just his evolution. He's such a skilled big guy.
Definitely.
And he's got that same mentality like you have, which is no, it's energy. I'm going to come out here. I'm going to play hard. And I feel like that's an underrated skill in the NBA. If you play hard, that goes a long way.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. you have to give max effort, especially when you're a guy who maybe not as talented, like me coming in. You know what I'm saying? The one thing that can never be in question is how hard I'm gonna play. Like, you know, you're gonna get all I got every single night. And that's one thing that if you can kind of differentiate yourself as one of those guys, you know, people and coaches, fans, they just kind of gravitate to you.
And if you're in a city like Sacramento where we're just used to losing, it's just been, you know, so many years since we've seen a postseason, you win over every damn human being in this city with just effort. Like, that's the cool part about this fan base. You know, like, obviously we hope to see wins and all, but the appreciation for guys like you is just in its truest form. Like, you are truly appreciated here by so many people, and your effort on the floor just does not go unnoticed.
I definitely appreciate that. And, you know, Sacramento showed me so much love since I've been here, man. I love this place. I love this place. I definitely do.
Okay, it was pretty weird seeing what that interview looked like.
Mm-hmm.
But now to take it to the present. Here we are, just like a week or so away from training camp starting. It was a weird year for Richaun Holmes.
Yeah.
Very strange. But hearing that interview, it makes you remember, like, this is kind of who he is. This is the grinder who, you know, the odds may be stacked against him, but he fights and keeps it going. I personally think that Richaun can carve out a really nice role with this squad. Sabonis sure will take up a lot of the minutes at the center spot. He's an all-star. But we've seen like Sabonis get in foul trouble too. And having a legit big coming off your bench who's tough, who could switch out and pick and rolls, who is a lob threat, I think Richaun could be a nice contributor off the bench for Sacramento.
I agree. I think it's just going to make his minutes that much more important, that much more valuable in the minutes that he does get to play. And I think he's going to understand this role because he has some great leadership. Obviously, Mike Brown, we've seen what some of the other coaching staff has been like. So I'm excited to see how they treat Richaun Holmes, his minutes, and what he can do for the squad.
Also, with camp starting, preseason about to be here, just know one thing.
What?
You're going to get so much Kings content and NBA content from us. It'll blow your mind live after every single Sacramento Kings game. You don't want to miss it. We love you guys so much, but we gots to go.
Hey, thanks for being here. See you later.
Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. The podcast that you know.